Justice for CJ, a son, brother, father, uncle. Up drove the hearse Cadillac. A crowd of people gathered round, all dressed in black. And as they removed his body from the car, such pain she never knew had filled her heart. It happened on an early Saturday morning when the noise from the phone really disturbed her. She wasn't too sure at first just what the caller meant when they informed her that there had been an incident. Why, oh why, the sound of a mother's cry as she gathered herself and wiped the tears from her eyes. Somebody asked who was the next of kin. But oh Lord, it was the beginning of her end. March 17th, 2018. CJ will forever be 22 years young. Justice for CJ. In a mother's love, you will find everything's all right. To a mother's love, you are bound. You can rest on sacred ground. You are free to dream because she sees what you can be. Did you know that mental health is a family affair? It's a family affair. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. Well, one child grows up to be somebody that just loves to learn, and another child grows up to be somebody you just love to burn. Mama loves the both of them. You see, it's in the blood. Both kids are good to mom. Blood thicker than the mud. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. Oh, a family affair. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. Nobody wants to blow. Nobody wants to be left out. You can't leave 'cause your heart is there. But you can't stay 'cause you've been somewhere else. You can't cry 'cause you look broke down, but you're crying anyway 'cause you're all broke down. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. Well, it's a family affair. Hey, hey, hey. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us who we used to be. Everybody's searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone to fulfill my needs. A lonely place to be. So I learned to depend on me. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I failed, if I succeed, at least I'll live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity, because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. And if by chance that special place that you've been dreaming of takes you to a lonely place, find yourself in love. Welcome to my world. Come on in and make yourselves at home. Welcome to my life. I know everything's gonna be all right. Welcome to my world. Oh, won't you come on in? Welcome to my life. It's known as the Tiger's Den. Greetings to all of my subscribers. I want to thank you for being with me for as long as you have, and the new subscribers that's coming on in. We want to say greetings and thank you for your time. This is from Toothless and the moderators. Welcome to the Tiger's Den. Greetings and welcome to the Tiger's Den. This is the voice of Cheryl, and I am Toothless Tiger. Hello, everybody. Glad you're here. I know that the Cowboys are on, so we may lose a few, and we got Phyllis going through both, so that's a good thing. But I want to say greetings to all that are here. And I know that Catchy, Madria, and Laura were the first three, I believe. Crystal, Phyllis, Asatar, Regina M., Joshua Robinson. Guess they were passing through. Who all are in the bushes, in the trees, in the clouds, on the beach, in the sand, in the ocean, cruising, wherever you may be? Welcome to the Tiger's Den. There is so much going on in the world today that I believe they're discussing. There are a lot of things happening that remind me of a time that we often hear about, read about, ignore, and if you're like me, research about. So many things that are going on, and we could be here for hours and hours, but I promise we won't do that, but we will be here a minute. I saw a couple of things this past week, from Wednesday, as a matter of fact, that caught my eye. One of the stories is a story that's actually a year old, maybe even two, but it was new to me, and they have a new petition that is going around right now for a young lady. Last week, I kind of talked about, hey, Trinity, how's it going? I kind of talked about the Board of Education and where we need to be trying to go as a people. And that's all people, but mainly our people, Asiatic people. And again, when I have a conversation, the conversation is never to put anyone down, but it is definitely to try to bring us up to where we're back to where we used to be. And that's in love and honor and respect of one another. And first, we got to learn to do that for ourselves. Once we do that for ourselves, we will most definitely do it for others. I'm going to be sharing a video and recording of a conversation. And I want to just remind everybody, even though it's scrolling under, U.S. Code 107, we have that rights under fair use. And so the information that I'll be sharing in this video is for educational, research, criticism, and some degree of humor. Any names, quotes, or readings are used under the fair use section of the 1976 Copyright Act. So we're going to be using Roland Martin's video. I was hesitant at first to show it and just tell you guys about the story. But then as I read his page and read the information about the young lady, and he does acknowledge, like we all do here on YouTube, but he acknowledged fair use. And so I said, why not then let you guys see it and hear it for yourselves, because it's really something that we as parents and grandparents need to hear. We've heard we've come a long way, and perhaps we have. But it seems here in the last few months that we are definitely going backward as opposed to moving forward. Number one, we don't respect each other, and we have a real serious problem showing each other respect and any semblance of love. And then, as we have been rated throughout the country, throughout the years, it seems that we're losing our status, even though we don't even know our status. as humans, citizens, people who are honorable, integral, who go to work every day, go to school, and do the things that we're supposed to do to uphold the laws of the land, and the Constitution. And that's the Constitution of whichever state you're in, and of course, the Constitution for the United States of America. So I want to start with this young lady's story. And it's, like I said, very interesting. You guys, if you like, you could just take some notes. So, and please feel free to chime in on the conversation, um, what's going on here. But this bears talking about. And I think we need more people talking about the things that are happening today. And when I say today, I mean in 2020, 21, 22, 23, 19, things that are affecting us today as people. And any opinion that you have is certainly your opinion. So don't think that if you voice your opinion, you're saying anything wrong. Our opinions could be right, they could be wrong. But one thing we know is that they belong to us and we have a right to voice them. And so feel free to say what you need to say or what you like to say, because I know we're all adults and we all have beautiful adult conversations here. Madria has been kind enough to drop the link, if you can't stay and whatever, so that you can look at it. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show it. I'm going to speed it up, as YouTube would require us to do something different when we're using someone else's stuff. And I'm going to put it on 125, and I'm going to share it. And once I share this and then do what I got to do as far as the other stuff that I'm going to share, then I'll come on camera. So, guys, I love to be on camera. So let me get this started so we can get started. It's about 21 minutes, so it's not long. And I want you guys to hear it for yourselves. Let me stop sharing for a moment. Let me just take this down for a moment and cut the music up just a little bit so we can have a little music in the background. I know I have it down and I don't know if you guys can hear the music or not, but we're just going to turn it up just a little bit so we can stay in the YouTube guidelines. Okay, here we go, everybody.
Folks, she is an honor student, an excellent student, a stellar basketball player. So why is Aaliyah Perry expelled from the Mount Verde Academy in Florida, folks? This is an exclusive story. She got into a confrontation with two white students. White students came at her first. Why are they still there? And she has been suspended. This story has captured the attention of lots of folks. There also is a video of the incident. Yet why are we not actually seeing that particular video? Joining us right now is Aaliyah. She joins us right now along with her mother, Angelia Alexander from Winter Garden, Florida. Glad to have both of you here for this exclusive interview. So, Aaliyah, okay, walk people through exactly what happened to you. When did this happen? What were the circumstances around you being attacked by these two white students?
Okay, before Leah gets started, can you guys hear pretty good? If you all can hear it, just drop a one. Let me know that you guys can hear it pretty good. Phyllis said, we as a group of people need to get in touch with what's going on in the universe and stop limiting ourselves to texting and just nothing with no substance. Okay, you guys can hear it pretty good. Okay, here we go.
So it started on a Tuesday, and me and a couple friends were just sitting around talking in the student center. And let me mind you, it's packed. It's a bunch of games going on, lots of people talking and stuff. And I like I was talking to a kid across the student center, and we were talking about TikTok, yada yada yada. And another boy, he's like, "Why you gotta be so loud?" And mind you, the student center is packed with at least 50 kids. So like, and it's a free period. Like I could talk however I want to talk. Like it's not like I was screaming where everybody could hear me, but I was getting his attention. And he comes over here and he's just like, "Yo, shut the f up! Why you gotta be so loud? There's no reason for you to be all loud and stuff." And I'm saying, go away, just go away. I'm not talking to you. Don't interfere. I'm not talking to you. Go about your business.
Now you said this on Tuesday, but again, what month was it?
What month? It was this month, March.
Got it. Okay, so it's very recent. What took place? Go ahead.
Yes, and so he comes over and he's just telling me, "Shut the f up, be quiet." Nobody's like, "Why you have to be so loud?" I'm like, "Nobody's talking to you. You can go about your business." And then a girl that was sitting at the table with them, I guess I don't know what made her get in her feelings. I don't know what made her upset, because literally nothing that I did had anything to do with her. And then she starts calling me B words, N words, all this and that. And so I get up and I go to her. I'm like, "Yo, what's the problem?" And she's like, "Why the F do you have to be so loud?" And let me mind you, when I walked up to her, I gave her arm's distance to where we could have a conversation. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And she steps in my space. Like, her head is on my chin. Like, that's how close she was. And so I'm like, "Back up." And like they make it seem like I pushed her aggressively. I was like, "No, she was in my space. Her head was touching my chin." I said, "Back up." And so then as I like turn to my friend, I'm like walking towards my friend. She comes and she pushes me on my side. So then I automatically turn and I push her back. Then both of those pushes, like her push and my push, were both aggressive. Not aggressive for any fall though. Any of us to fall, hit our heads, none of that. Like no one fell, no punches, no nothing. Later I was called to the office where I sat there, I had to give my story. And then I was later told to go home. Well, before I was told to go get my father, and he came, and then, one of the phones was brought in, and, one of the deans came into the office and was like, because there's 4 deans, and one of the deans came into the other dean's office and was like, "Hey, I need to see that phone on there." And as I was exiting, I was like, "If this is yada yada's phone, it has everything you need to see." Come back the next day for the video, it's white, it's gone. Apparently she doesn't have it, and nobody has it. Even though it was shared on social media, nobody has it now. And she also received hours for having that video. So
Okay, now here you have a student who had a phone, who had the video on their phone. She received hours for having the video on the phone. Hours had to be in-house suspension. She didn't state that, but what else would you receive hours for if you're in a school setting? And then when she came back to school, there was no video to be found, so they thought. Let's continue with the story.
who knows? So on Wednesday, I come and I have to go to a discipline committee after at 12 o'clock. And so I'm sitting there, I asked for a snack. I asked one of the deans for a snack, and he tells me no. He just, if I did not ask one of the other colored deans for food, this man wouldn't have let me eat the whole day. So I then went to the colored dean and I asked, "Can I please get a snack or something? I have my own money, I can buy it." And she let me go and I came back. Then later I went to the DC committee that day. And, before I got there, my coach was telling me, she was like, "When you go in here, just own up to what you did. Tell them that none of this would have happened if you even walked up there." Me, I'm a kid. I'm trusting my coach. That's my coach. I'm thinking she has all intentions for me. She wants me to be here. So I go in there, I'm sitting down, and I'm telling them it's my fault that, I could have resolved the issue by not going over there. I could have just walked away after she even pushed me. I could have walked away. In the meeting, the lady said, "Are you sure that girl pushed you?" And I'm like, "I'm positive the girl pushed me, because why would I push her if she didn't put her hands on me?" And then we left. She said, "Okay, we'll watch the video." I said, "Okay." Then we left, and my coach was like, "I don't like the way she said that. It made it seem like we were lying." And I was like, "Coach, I'm not lying. I have nothing to lie about. She pushed me, so I pushed her back." And then coach was like, I believe you. You know, I'm thinking my coach is on my side. Sometimes she's gonna fight for me at my back. Next day goes on. You know, again, I finished the rest of that day off. Then I was told by one of the other deans that I was gonna have hours, suspension and hours, because I was already serving in school suspension. So he said that I would definitely have some hours I would have to work off, and then I would be probably suspended for another 2 more days. You know, 2 more days. That's what I told my consequence was. Expulsion was never on. So on the next day, and I had bought me a sandwich from the student center that morning. I went to the office. I was like, hey, to the same dean that didn't let me eat yesterday. I was not yesterday. I said, hey, where do you want me to sit today? And he's like, tell you about having food in an academic building. And I was like, sir, I haven't ate it. He just said, give you snacks out of my hand, just threw it in the trash can, threw my food in the trash can. So I hadn't ate that entire morning. Then later I was called into the head of the school's office, and I was in there for about like 2-3 hours, and they were asking me questions. And like he started off with the video, then he started asking me a bunch of questions. And then one of the, she's like a counselor sort of, and she was like, well, you know, Leah's going through a lot, and I talked to her about maybe getting counseling or whatever. And I was like, he was like, well, why does she need counseling? And then I explained to him that my grandma had recently passed. And then he asked me, what schools have you went to? I told him I went to Orangewood and Foundation Academy. He said, those are very faith-based. I said, yes, sir. Then he tells me, well, you know, in life, when you grow up, you're realizing reality. No one gives a S. He's like, and I mind you, like, I have no parent, no coach in there, nobody else in there. It's just 5 adults asking me questions for 3 hours straight. And then he says, so what does this girl say to you that makes you like,
so at any point, did they call you, Angelina? Did they call Alita? Did they call your father? So why are they having conversations with you about this? And you as a parent, you're not involved in any way in these conversations?
Right. I never got a call. When it first happened, my daughter, what she did was she hit me a text and said, Mom, I'm in trouble. So as a mom, I'm like, oh my God, what happened? So she was like, I pushed a girl. So I'm like, okay. So then I had to call school and say, hey, listen, let me see this video of my child pushing another child, because she's not aggressive like that. I mean, I teach her to stand her ground, but not to start things. So when I go into the office, I see the video, and all I see is my daughter sitting down, and she get up and just run and push the kid. I'm like, well, the video's skipping. And he's like, oh, well, you know, we've been having IT issues. So I'm like, well, if the video's skipping, that's not accurate. We can't go off that video.
Now, did you hear the mother? And Maria, you are so right. It is so sad what our children have to go through. Hi, Lazy. Glad to see you. It's so sad what our children have to go through. And the saddest part about it, our children have to go through this throughout school. We go through this on public jobs, and we all are just a mess. We really don't know how to even conversate with one another. It is so good that she and her mother have the type of relationship that would allow her, when it happened, to text her mom and say, hey, I'm in trouble. And her mom, knowing her child, know that it's more to this story than what meets the eye. And sometimes we as parents don't really listen, because we have to leave our public jobs that we know we're going through, you know, a holy hell on, and we don't feel we need to be having to deal with these type issues. But just think about it coming from a child perspective. She had enough sense to know she was in the room with 5 adults, and they were questioning her, you know, probably interrogation style. And here she is. What is she to do? And then the man took her food, throwed it in the trash. And then after they said about the counseling for losing her grandmother, the man told her nobody cares. How insensitive is that? And we're talking about a child here. But you're so right. She is too, very intelligent. That's one of the things I liked when we came here to YouTube, and the conversation used to be about how it seems the system was effeminizing our men, and we sometimes as women emasculate men, but we forget about our daughters. We're all here and under attack. For what reason? There is only but one race, and that's the human race. But sometimes we tend to forget that. And there have been a big controversy especially in the last 2 years, on critical race theories. And it is a theory that's taught in colleges, but states throughout the United States are having actual laws passed saying that it can't be taught in, elementary school, junior high, and high school, which no one is teaching it there anyway because it's a subject in a college course. It has nothing to do with our children, but it's a way for us to wipe out what's happening here in this country, what has happened, and how we can correct a wrong. Remember, the three A's that I come up with are my triple A's, and they are: first, you got to acknowledge you have an issue. Once you acknowledge you have an issue, then you got to accept the issue. And once you accept the issue, you got to get into action to correct whatever the problem is. So it's very important that we listen to this. Let me see. It like Maria said something. Looks like my rain is coming down. Let me cut my TV off. Wherever my remote is. That's my good, beautiful sound that I go to sleep to is my rain. Crystal says she would never deal with the dean. I thought I saw something Maria said. Maria said, Crystal, how this young lady was done and treated was wrong on all levels. They treated her like she was in jail being interrogated. You said the same thing I said, Maria. I didn't even get to see that. But it sounds like an interrogation. Lazy said, hey, Annie, watching my Niners beat up. Well, I hope the Cowboys come back and beat you guys, but however it go, yay for the home team. Yours or mine. We'll be excited about it. And Phyllis said, uh, um, any one of our kiddos can be victimized at any time. Trust and believe they can. And the thing about it is they don't really have to be wrong. And Krista said, Madria, I know right. That is why it's important to support all Black schools at all age levels. So very true. Phyllis said, they ganged up on her, and her coach failed her as well from the start. Yeah, the coach really failed her because the children really, really, really trust and love their coaches. They believe in their coaches. So let's go back to the conversation. And remember what the mom said. When she looked at the video, it was her daughter just getting up from the table, going to push the girl. None of what happened when she went and talked to the girl and the girl got up in her face. You couldn't see any of that. And then they used the excuse that the IT knows that the camera is skipping. Really? Krista said, I attended a public high school with one open racist teacher, Mr. Rudin. I will never forget how he treated the dark-skinned students. Okay, here we go. Let's go back to the video so we can hear her mom.
So that was it. No call, no email. The only email I got was Friday of spring break, 3:30 p.m. saying we have expelled your child, and it's not up for appeal. My daughter, she's a National Honor Society student. All right, she's never been in an aggressive issue. Yeah, she's had cell phone, not wearing uniform. That's just normal stuff kids get into. But when you tell me that my daughter tried to hurt somebody and you put it in an email and then you expel her and then you think I'm supposed to go withdraw her out your school to transfer these records to another school, that's going to follow her. So no, we're not doing that. So yeah, no one told me anything. And so that's why we're here. We're here because my baby needs justice. This is not right. When you got teachers that are calling me tell me things, can vouch. It's not right. It's time people stand up for this school.
And can I say something real quickly?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the main thing that I wanted at first was to be allowed to finish this year in person and go to Geico, like because I play basketball. I'm one of the point guards on the team.
So what is your classification at the school? You are
sophomore. I'm a sophomore.
You're a sophomore. Okay, so this is your second year at the academy.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. And we're describing this is an exclusive academy. How many black students are there? Like what's the black population of this academy? How many students overall at this school?
There's a bunch of students in general.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that this academy with 1,000 students, 2,000 students, like how large is the school?
Yeah, it's about 2,000 kids.
And how many black kids go to the school?
Some of our international students, and then you have most of the black kids are athletes.
Got it. Okay, so they make this. I'm sorry, so Aaliyah, you want to go ahead and make a point? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, so like at first I wanted to do this to go to school because she still gets to go to school even though she put her hands on me as well. And I wanted to play basketball because I play on a national team and we're about to head to Geico. But like I don't even want to play Geico because I feel like my coach just wasn't there for me. Like that hurts. Like my coach wasn't there for me the entire time. That's crazy.
So what I'm trying to understand is how do they arrive at the point of expelling her?
Did you see the pain on her face and her mother's face to fight back the tears of the coach, betrayal of trust? And we teach the children to trust the adults. Tell them what's going on and trust the adults. And she had all faith and trust in her coach. But look what happened. Let's keep going.
And there's no conversation with the parents. So does the school have a process when they decide to expel students? Is there some kind of system they have? Is there an appeals process? Or is it simply they make a decision, that's it, you're out?
To be honest, I was told that, of course, the parents are supposed to be involved, especially I've been involved when she got a cell phone issue. They told me about that. Oh, your daughter got in trouble for having a cell phone out. You notify me about that, but you don't notify me about my child getting expelled until she gets expelled. Even with the coach, you notify me when you have an issue with her, maybe her and her teammates going back and forth, but you never reach out to me about, this is big. My child has just gotten expelled. And you call me and tell me you didn't know about the process. She told me, I didn't know about the process. What? How do you not know that one of your point guards is about to get expelled? But last year, there was a student, okay, that got in trouble for bringing a boy into the girls' dorm, all right, because we've been honest, all right? And this student was allowed to finish school online and to return this year to play on the girls' basketball team. But yet, you didn't fight for my child like that. You didn't do that. Why? Because she's not. What is it? We want to know what was the difference.
The tuition at this school is $50,000 a year.
For boarders. She's a day student, so we pay $19 a year.
This is the statement that they provided to us. Go ahead and pull it up, folks. It is the practice of the academy not to discuss student discipline matters, which they treat confidentially. They are noting the business of releasing disparaging information about minors. The academy realizes that she is an adolescent girl who is still maturing, learning from her mistakes and impulsive behavior. Therefore, I cannot provide you with greater detail. However, the academy holds students to a high standard, particularly student athletes. As a private school, the rules are strict and the standard is set high. The academy does not tolerate behavior at school that is intimidating, threatening, or abusive. The safety and security of the student community is always a high priority. I can advise you that state several facts which are simply not true. The other student's father is not and has never been employed by the school. No students were told to delete videos. In fact, we were in possession of several student videos. In addition to videos, the school administration also spoke to numerous witnesses who saw the undisciplinary history is always taken into consideration. When disciplinary consequences are determined, to say that she had no prior disciplinary history would also be false. The student's family is pushing a false narrative in an attempt to portray the student in a more sympathetic light. We understand that her parents are disappointed with the disciplinary decision. The academy stands firm in its resolve to hold students accountable and make sure all students feel safe on campus. That is Lori W. Smith, the attorney for Mount Verde Academy. Your response to that, and also have you, Angelia, have y'all hired an attorney in this case?
We did. We hired an attorney, and if if that's so true, why are you telling me to get off social media and then we'll negotiate? We're not negotiating the fact that what happened happened. If my child has to walk away with expulsion by telling the truth, she just will. But we're not going to go along with the lies to make you guys look good. It's not going to happen. So I asked my daughter, I said, Leah, what do you want to do? Do you want to just negotiate with them, act like all this stuff is not true? Or do you want to keep telling the truth and pray that the truth will be the light? My child said, Mom, let's the truth, because this is going to help the next child, the next child, the next child not go through what she went through. So guy goes out the window. We don't care. We care about the truth in this situation.
What is your next step?
Our next step is we're going to keep protesting until we get this video, the full truth of what happened. You're only showing one side, and you're telling students not to talk. I mean, like, all this is happening, and the sad thing about it is I have parents calling me, I have teachers calling me, all right, who's telling me your daughter is 100% right. She's not telling the story, but I know she's telling the truth because my child, I teach her to tell the truth, no matter what the consequences are. So we're going to keep fighting, and to be honest, they don't deserve my child to finish school there. You know, for what? You treat her like she was nothing, garbage. Like you just threw her away. She used to get up every morning and go to work at that school. Then she went to class. Then she went to practice. She didn't get home till late nights. And this how you do her. But yet you did have a fight 2 weeks ago in front of the school.
Fist fight.
A fist fight. You had. I got a teacher that's willing to. And I had a fist fight.
I have a message sent by a child, like a kid who was literally witnessing it.
And you did expel those kids.
Right.
But we are supposed to be quiet. Y'all just be quiet. You know, shut up. Get me off social media. Get us off social media, and we'll negotiate.
So I'm going to stop it right there. There's a few minutes left in the interview, and you can go and check it out. Maria has put the link there. But I wanted to remember when they said that they don't talk about the children's disciplinary? Listen what they said here when they said in this statement, they said, however, the Academy holds students to a high standard, particularly student athletes. As a private school, the rules are strict and the standard is set high. The Academy does not tolerate behavior at school that is intimidating, threatening, or abusive. The safety and security of the student community is always a high priority. I can advise that you state several facts which are simply not true. The other student's father is not and has never been employed by the school. No students were told to delete videos. In fact, we were in possession of several student videos. In addition to videos, the school administration also spoke to numerous witnesses who saw the unprovoked attack, which was not defensive in nature. Finally, I would add that a student's entire disciplinary history is always taken into consideration when disciplinary consequences are determined. To say that she had no prior disciplinary history would also be false. So now listen to what they said. The student's family is pushing a false narrative in an attempt to portray the student in a more sympathetic light. We understand that her parents are disappointed with the disciplinary decision, but the Academy stands firm in its resolve to hold students accountable and make sure all students feel safe on campus. So now they're going to say that it is okay for them. Let's stop sharing. They're going to say that it's okay for them to talk about this student has other disciplinary issues, but yet they don't speak on students' disciplinary issues. And the disciplinary issues, the mother said, was maybe failure to wear her uniform or a cell phone being seen. Greetings, so Alicia. Glad you're here. Catchy say, sounds like the coach wasn't there for this young black girl. She was not. She was not at all. Phyllis said, I do not think the child needs to attend their school because the treatment would be very unfair toward her. Then it says she's trying to help her cowboys with this gang tonight. So far it's hard. So when you look at the fact that she was expelled for a push, that they only have one side. Also, I think it read on there about, they said the IT section knew that there were problems with the video, and that they couldn't show the entire video because they knew that they had problems. It says there is a video of the incident, but according to the school, about 15 seconds of the video is missing because of a known IT issue with recording the surveillance video. And guess what? 15 seconds is missing. According to Alea, the part where she gets attacked. Now, this is the lawyer that's talking. This is a letter that the lawyer wrote. The school attorney made that statement. Not that part I'm reading now. She made the statement about it's the practice of the school, as if she's there every day and knows how they conduct business. It is amazing that our children have to go to school, have to learn. As her mom said, she worked at the school as well as played basketball, had so much responsibility, and now have to deal with adult issues because she's being ostracized and alienated, actually. But the young lady is still going to school. And both, remember, the young man that attacked her verbally and this young lady that pushed her are both seniors in high school, and she's a sophomore. So let's take that into account. I think one of them were 18 and she's what, about 16? So let's take that into account. Cachet say we all can assume the reason, even though the reason is clear. They always put the race card. It is a racist experience for the student. Maria say, Cachet, it's right. And I'm sure that means so right. Let me see, it jumped up. That's their go-to always. Asatar say, I apologize. I was on the phone. I don't even want to say it, so I don't jinx it. Let's just say by next Sunday, after we get this player that we're getting, Grant will be ranked number one ranked team in LA. Okay, good for Grant. Phyllis said, some think and might say, do not transfer her, but you will not have to face that turmoil each day. So I think I would remove her, but we'll continue to investigate. Crooks stick together to cover their mess. And that is so true. Acetone, we really are happy for you. We just talking about a serious subject right now. We're happy for you and we're happy for Grant. And I hope, like the world, that it happens exactly the way y'all want it. Everybody knows that Coach Asatar, well, in case you all don't know, I put it on my community wall, but Coach Asatar had the opportunity to be the head coach this past weekend, and he coached the game, and they won by the hair of their chinny chin chin at a three-pointer at the last seconds of the game, and it was a very interesting game. I have the entire game on my community wall. If you can't look at the entire game, please go take a look and give Asatar a thumbs up and a bit of congratulations. He's very excited, and they're having some really beautiful things happening at the school. They're getting students that they wouldn't have even laid down and dreamed about. They couldn't have even went and recruited these students. The students are coming to them. So it's an awesome thing that may be happening next week. He dare not say it as not to jinx it. I dare not even say what I think it is, but I hope that it is everything that you guys want it to be. I really do. Now, we're going to change the tenor of the conversation just a little bit. And we're going to go to the most recent incident that happened. But first of all, I'm going to come on camera for a moment. And I want to show y'all my t-shirts that I have. This is my line. It's called the Stack Deck Collection. And I made this t-shirt because every time we talk about issues that relates to us as a people and any other race of people, they always say that we're pulling the race card. So in a deck of cards, there are 54 cards when you count the jokers. So I came up with a t-shirt. It's called the Stack Deck Collection. And I have all the jokers down to the jack. And it says, if I'm playing the race card, then you are playing the other 53 stacked against me. How can we have a fair game if you're playing with 53 and you're telling me all I'm playing is the race card? That's only one card. So I do have these t-shirts. I do sell these t-shirts, and we do make them. So if anybody's interested in the Stack Deck Collection, now is the time to get them, because it seems like everybody seems to be putting us as a people under attack. For what reason? I cannot say, but it is happening, and it is happening every day. We cannot continue to pretend this stuff is not happening. And I understand I don't have a platform to talk freely about anything, but this is a free country. And I understand the policies of YouTube. And as long as we're not attacking and downgrading anybody and talking hate, then we should be able to voice our opinion on things that are happening in the world today. If we can be on here calling each other all manner of names and destroying each other's families and careers, certainly we ought to be able to build on YouTube and make it better for people that's coming along. So until they tell me that, hey, you just can't be on here trying to make people love one another and respect one another, then I'll tell you that I'm going to continue to bring these type issues to the forefront, because time is too far spent. We always talk about where we came from, that we don't know, but we do know Jim Crow is real. And if we pretend that that's not real, when we didn't get civil rights until 1964, my next story is going to bring it home to you so that you can understand. YouTube and the world, whoever gets to look at this video, will understand we have a serious problem in America, and it's not each other. We were taught to be the way we are. Our conditions were predestinated. Some people love to say predestined, but they were set before us. We didn't have a lot of choices in the matter, nor did we have a lot of conversation. And we think about, for me, I do all the time, big companies, they have what they call think tanks. And then I looked up think tanks so we can discuss think tanks. And again, it's normally for corporations, and it's strategies and it's organizations on how you can do different things globally, as well as for your state, for your government, for your organization, whatever it may be. But we must start thinking outside of the box. I want to remind everybody, thank you for hitting the like button. We still have the $11 challenge for my $11 million win. If anybody like to give to that challenge, please feel free to hit the Cash App or the Super Chat. It is your choice. But let's go with Crystal said, those type of people doesn't care how much money you have, how big your house is, the car you drive. A matter of fact, they hate that you have an even playing field. And that is so correct. That's why you have to do everything. Hey, Brianna. That's why you have to do everything on paper, because paper gives you a level playing field. Everybody paper is flat with four corners, and it gives you that level playing field that you need. So we're going to move on to the next story, because it's really, really amazing. And what's really remarkable about this story is it's happened in Alabama. So we've had quite a few things happen in Alabama in the last couple of months. So let's get ready for this one. Thank you, so Alicia. I appreciate that. Yeah, I came up with that before I ever came on YouTube, the Stack Deck Collection. I get so tired of people saying the race card, the race card. We can't talk about anything without us saying the race card, the race. But if I'm playing the race card, what are you playing? The other 53 stacked against me. Because it's 54 cards in a deck, not one. So I'm going to go back off camera and let's do this story. It's very interesting. I don't know if you guys seen it, but it caught my eye. This story is the students' vile Jim Crow inspired lynching message sparking outrage. And I got this from the Daily Beast. And the reporter is Brooke Lee Howard. It was published September 21st, 2023 at 6:07 p.m. And I will be sharing that on the screen. This is what our children have to deal with. Not only do they have to deal with the hatred that we've come to know of each other, and a lot of that is because of envy and jealousy, because we don't value the smaller things in life anymore. We all want to belong to something, and the world tells us that if you don't have the name brand, and if you're not in the in crowd, and if you're not hanging out at this place, then you're a nobody. And we have to remind our children that that's not true. That's not who you are, and that does not make a great person. This is the same fair use that we're using. And here is what was on Snapchat. The good thing about this article is they give us a voiceover. And I want you guys to hear what is being said. Now, you can see visually, these are the things that were on Snapchat. This is what the children were saying. Hold on 1 minute, because I know I sped this up. Already to 125. So listen to the article.
Students' vile Jim Crow-inspired lynching messages spark community outrage. By Brooke Lee Howard. Slap on the wrist. The social media posts, obtained by the Daily Beast, show students discussing bringing nooses, pitchforks and torches to homecoming and joining the KKK. A school district in Alabama has been getting hammered by critics online after high school students allegedly exchanged racially violent and threatening messages, including remarks about lynching black people, on social media. On Tuesday, Snapchat messages circulated between students within the Oneonta City Schools District, sparking an investigation after 3 students reported the horrific exchange of messages to administrators. This afternoon, 3 students reported a Snapchat message from the previous evening occurring off campus between several other students that were offensive and divisive, Oneonta City Schools posted on its Facebook page Wednesday. I'm proud of the students for reporting this to their administrators, as it speaks highly of them and their rapport with their administrators. The administrators immediately researched the Snapchat messages to gather facts, and a decision was made to take immediate disciplinary action against those involved, the post continued, limiting who could respond in the comments. Our schools will not tolerate this type of behavior. The post garnered hundreds of reactions and dozens of shares, and community members flocked to social media to share their disgust with how the school district allegedly handled the students involved. I really love how they disabled the comments, Oneonta resident Natalie Maud wrote. I heard all they got was in-school suspension and a slap on the wrist. Go figure, go Redskins. So a threat that incites violence against another student that involves rope and a pitchfork is fine, BC, it wasn't done in school grounds. But a threat about violence with a gun would be different? A threat is a threat, wrote another Oneonta resident, Leela Chacon Price. Way to go, Oneonta, I'm so glad you handled this so swiftly. Apparently your schools will tolerate this type of behavior, you will get 2 days of ISS. Screenshots of the vile Snapchat messages were shared on Facebook Wednesday by Oneonta High School alumnus Landon Bothwell, who said he obtained the images from his brother and current Oneonta student, Demarion Fluff Bothwell. Landon said Demarion got the messages from one of the other students included in the Snapchat group, and Landon decided to post them on Facebook to let everyone know what that school is really about. This type of activity isn't anything new at Oneonta, Landon told the Daily Beast Thursday, explaining that it appeared as if the people in the group were planning to do something on the night of homecoming. According to Oneonta's football schedule, the homecoming game is planned for September 22nd against Fultondale High School. In the screenshots, at least 6 people engaged in the Snapchat conversation. "Let's bring candles and nooses to school while wearing it," one person says. "Hang the blacks with torches," another person chimes in. Another person suggests bringing pitchforks, cotton plants, and signs that say Negro bathrooms this way. "Let's be KKK members," another suggests, as others in the chat agree to the idea. The Daily Beast reviewed unedited images of the screenshots, but chose to remove the students' names. However, each of their names corresponded with players on Oneonta High School's baseball team. The Facebook page for Oneonta Baseball did not seem to address the controversy, though it previously reported other urgent issues like softball renovations in July and new batting cages in June. No one from the Superintendent's Office of Oneonta City Schools, the school board, the Oneonta High School administration, the Oneonta High School baseball team, or the parents of the students who allegedly exchanged the racist Snapchat messages immediately responded to the Daily Beast's requests for comment Thursday.
So there you have it. She read the article, and I showed the article. That's what our children are facing on a daily basis in public schools and private schools. And it's just poor taste is what you will hear. It's not serious. What are y'all talking about? I mean, I don't know what actually happened because that happened last month. And I just saw the article yesterday. Yeah, character does count. And this happened to our children no matter what grade they're in. And this is homecoming. Really, folks, Phyllis said, have anything changed? Where did this happen? In Oneonta, Alabama School District. That's not pure taste, Asatar said. That's pure evil. Let me spell that Oneonta because I don't really know how she's pronouncing that. Oneonta School District in Alabama. And these are students doing this on Snapchat. And they chose Snapchat because they say Snapchat, it's only there for so many minutes and then it goes away. But people captured it before it went away and reported it. So let me just remind you all, as I did last week, of the philosophy of the founders of the Education Board, John D. Rockefeller and Frederick T. Gates. And y'all may know those names, Rockefeller, Gates, as in Bill. This was in 1902 when they founded the school board. And listen to what they're saying and really hear what they're saying. Hey, Kelly G, how's it going? Glad you're here. Listen to what they're actually saying and let it marinate a little bit. It says, in our dreams, we have limitless resources. The people yield themselves with perfect docility to our molding hands. The present education conventions fade from their minds. And unhampered by tradition, we work our own goodwill upon a grateful and responsive rural folk. So they said, number one, we're docile people. And we're just turning over our lives to their molding hands. They said they have limitless resources. And they said the present education conventions fade from their minds, meaning our minds, and unhampered by tradition, we work our own goodwill upon a grateful and responsive rural folk. So that's speaking to a time when we were not even allowed to read. And once we were beginning to be allowed to read in the 1860s, I have a book that I've read from and that I have on my list. If you go back and look at my list of books, The Education of the Negro in 1865 to 1935, then you'll see exactly what they mean when they say that we're hampered by tradition and they work their own goodwill upon a grateful and responsive rural folk. So we're happy just to have the opportunity now to learn, is what they're saying. We shall not try to make these people or any of their children into philosophers or men of learning. They're not going to try to teach us nothing. Or men of science. We have not to raise up from among them authors, editors, poets, or men of letters. We shall not search for embryo great artists, painters, musicians, nor lawyers, doctors, preachers, politicians, statesmen, of whom we have an ample supply. So they're saying they have all of this, but they're not going to teach any of us to be that. Isn't it amazing that we're all of that and more? It says the task we set before ourselves is a very simple as well as a very beautiful one. To train these people, and hear what I said, to train these people as we find them to a perfectly ideal life just where they are. So that's not education for humans, which is known as erudition. This is docility training for animals. And so we have the mentality in our public schools as training just like you would see in a prison institution. Everything is single file. Everybody must sit at the desk. Nobody's allowed up to play. Children play. Children move around. You must sit still. And if you can't sit still, then you must have a behavior problem. Let's go to the DSM-5 and let's find out what we're going to call this behavior here. So it's almost illegal to be a kid, because if you do anything children do, you have an issue, and we need to get you some help. And we talk about the effeminizing of, these people love to say the alpha male, but it's not an alpha or an omega male. It's a person who's been taught and have self-esteem and have discipline and have values, have integrity, and they're able to exhibit it in a public place. Those people who have a voice and are allowed to use their voices in the home, in the right place and time. So when they make themselves known in the public, then there is a problem, because we can't have you coming up against us. You don't have a right to speak, although the Constitution, First Amendment, guarantees us the right to speak freely, to be artistic in our thinking. We can write freely. So they said, I'm going to read that line again. The task we set before ourselves is very simple as well as a very beautiful one. To train these people as we find them to a perfectly ideal life just where they are. So, we will organize our children and teach them to do in a perfect way the things their fathers and mothers are doing in an imperfect way. In the homes, in the shops, and on the farm. Docility training for animals. And then I gave you all definitions last week. We're not going to go there because I want to talk about something else. I want to talk about an article that I found on hold on a minute. Let me just pull this up a little bit. I try to share it next to each other, but it doesn't work that well for me. So I have to try to share it over here on this screen. This is USA Facts. And I'm going to share this with you guys. And this is a website. So you can just put in USA Facts. But I made it so that I can easily talk to you guys about it. Asatar said, I bet you every one of those kids who made those comments have racist parents. All that garbage is learned behavior. That is so true, Asatar. It is so very true. So Alicia said, Asatar, I don't doubt it. And Krista said, Asatar, exactly, 100. Okay. USA Facts. Black students are more likely to be punished than white students. Black students are suspended and expelled at a disproportionate rate compared to their white peers, according to the latest government education data. Now, this education data was updated on Thursday, March 23rd, 2023. And I also included Justice for Aaliyah. And that's the young lady on the basketball team. There is a petition that is out there at change.org if anybody is willing to go and sign the petition for Aaliyah. Now, it goes on to say, Black children are more likely to be disciplined than their white peers across all ages and all forms of discipline, according to data from the Department of Education for the 2017-18 school year. And notice they're always behind, never current, always behind in their studies. But everybody is studying, they say. About 15% of K through 12 public school students are Black, but they make up more than 30% of students who are suspended, expelled, or arrested. How could that be? And have we not noticed that our percentile never goes up? We stay at the same range. Wonder, why is that? Does anybody wonder why is that? That's a question. The racial disparity exists for public preschool students as well. Black preschoolers are 18% of enrolled students, but 43% of out-of-school suspensions. Now, what preschoolers should be sent home out of school? Again, like I mentioned a moment ago, Dr. Umar, he always speaks to that issue of children being weaponized and sent home just for being a child. Students with disabilities are also disproportionately disciplined. Children served under the Individuals with Disabilities Act represented 13% of K through 12 enrollment, but accounted for more than, listen to, a whopping 75% of all restraint and seclusion cases. While school-related arrests, referrals to law enforcement, and expulsions with educational services increased between the 2015 to 2016 and 2017 and 2018 school year, overall suspensions, zero tolerance expulsions, and expulsions without educational services decreased. Well, that's good to know. A total of 5.3 million disciplinary cases were recorded in the 2017-2018 school year, the most recent year available. Almost all of those cases were in or out of school suspensions. Corporal punishment is the least used form of discipline nationwide, making up about 1% of all cases. Disciplinary action against K through 12 students has gradually decreased over the past 10 years, according to data from the Department of Education. Suspension was the most common use discipline in the 2017-2018 school year. The types of discipline: one or more in school suspension, 2.6 million. One or more out of school suspensions, 1.6 million. Referral to law enforcement, 229,000.5. Expulsion with or without services, 101.7 thousand. Restraints, 74.8 thousand. Corporal punishment, 69.5 thousand. School related arrests, 54.34 thousand. Seclusion, 27.5 thousand. And the source of that information comes from the Department of Education. According to the latest government education data, Black students made up 15% of student enrollment. They represent double the number of all in-school suspension at 31%. White students were 47% of a total public school enrollment and represented 39% of all suspensions. Overall, suspensions decreased by about 2% between the 2015-2016 and 2017 and 2018 school years. So we know nothing of what happened in 2020, 2021, 2022, and now 2023. Expulsions without educational services decreased by 18%, according to the Education Department. This was the biggest drop for all discipline categories. During 2017-2018 school year, Black students made up 15% of student enrollment, but were expelled more than twice their enrollment numbers, 39%. Law enforcement referrals increased by 12% between 2015 and 16, 2017 and 18 school year. Black students were 29% of all referrals to law enforcement, while white students were 38% of all referrals. Students with disabilities were referred to law enforcement twice the amount of their enrollment numbers. Black students with disabilities served under the Individuals with Disabilities Act represent 17% of all student enrollment, but represented 32% of all law enforcement referrals. School-related arrests increased by 5% between 2015 and 2016 and 2017 and 2018 school year. Black students made up 32% of school arrests, doubling the enrollment numbers of Black students in K through 12 public schools. Among all students with disabilities, Black students with disabilities represented 35% of all arrests while making up 17% of student enrollment. I mean, how on earth do we think sending our children to schools, saying that they're learning, and this is the treatment that our children are getting? We need to get real. And, I don't care if, we don't have an abundance of people coming in and out of this chat. But these are subjects, and these people say they're parents and they love their children. Why aren't we more concerned about our future? We say the children are our future. Why are we not showing concern for our future? And we're tearing each other down as adults. What are our children going to do? They're not competitive. They have to fight the system, they have to fight each other, and then they have to deal with us as parents with whatever we're going through emotionally with each other, or if we're just one parent home, with not being able to take care of them in the manner which we would love to. We got to do better. We have got to start having conversations that will spark a change or a different way of looking at things. I'm not a martyr. I'm not trying to die for nobody. I just know that we have got to be better stewards. Everybody pretend to be a great steward of what they say the Lord gave them. Are we really? And these are the conditions of our public schools. These are what our children are going through. About 2% of all disciplinary cases involve restraint and seclusion. The Department of Education defines physical restraint as a restriction that prevents a student from moving their body. Mechanical restraint uses a device to limit a student's freedom of movement. Seclusion is the forced confinement of a student alone in an area, preventing them from leaving. That sounds like solitary confinement in a penitentiary. That has real psychological effects on a person with a healthy mind, supposedly. Imagine your child has disabilities, and this is the way they're being treated. Every state except for Hawaii reported using physical restraint and seclusions to punish students. The most common form of restraint or seclusion discipline is physical restraint. Close to 57,000 students were subjected to physical restraint nationwide. Seclusion was used around 21,000 times. About 75% of restraint and seclusion cases involve students with disabilities during the 2017-2018 school year. Corporal punishment is the act of school staff intentionally inflicting pain on a child as a punishment, according to the Department of Education. Corporal punishment is used in 22 states, plus Washington, D.C. The Education Department recorded more than 69,000 instances of corporal punishment in K through 12 schools during the 2017-18 school year. Mississippi public schools most frequently use corporal punishment to discipline students compared to the rest of the country, representing 30% of all reports. Students made up 36% of all corporal punishment cases nationwide, while students with disabilities represented 19% of all cases in Mississippi. Black students represented 63% of all use of corporal punishment. So if these are the statistics that we're getting, and they have these listed where we can just go and ask Google a question instead of asking about somebody's family address or what somebody did in their past, we can go do this for our children and see what's really happening, to see how we can be more productive in their lives. Don't y'all think we ought to be doing something a whole lot different? A whole lot different as prudent men and women who say that we're professionals and believers. Preschool discipline. Racial disparities in school discipline data began at an early age for public school children. In the 2017-2018 school year, Black preschoolers were 18.2% of total student enrollment, but made up 43.3% of all out-of-school suspensions and 38% of all expulsions. We're talking about preschoolers, y'all. What could a preschooler do to get expelled for the entire year? White preschoolers represent 43% of student enrollment and made up 33% of all out-of-school suspensions and 37% of expulsions. And even though that number is smaller, what can those children do to deserve to be put out of school? It just doesn't make sense. Public preschoolers receive a small portion of all disciplinary action. During the 2017-18 school year, preschoolers were disciplined close to 4,000 times. Nearly 75% of those cases involved suspension. There was 851 corporal punishment cases. And you can learn more of this about education in the U.S. if you go to USA Facts. That's the website that I went to get this information. So that's my educational part of the show. And now we can talk about it, or we can say, hey, I mean, it's mind blowing. 75% Asatar. Yeah, it's mind blowing. And they are staggering numbers. And then they wonder why we act, or why our children act the way they act. When you're getting it at home and then you go to school and you're catching it at school, you don't know if you're catching it for your behavior or for something that the teachers are going through personally themselves. You have no way of knowing. Which one is it? Is it the children's behavior that actually causes a preschooler to be put out of school? But it says these folks need to wake up. Some of us are still in the slavery mentality because we were taught to hate each other and keep division among yourselves. That's so very true. We as a group of people need to learn how to change our mental thinking. Billy said the Dallas Cowboys seem to have lost one. Well, there is next week for the boys, she said. And Phyllis said, most people are not interested in helping our people. We have been taught to get yours. So sad. Are we multitasking on everything but helping where we need to be multitasking? You know, we have some people, like you're here, and I'm talking to you, Phyllis, you're here and you were able to watch the game. Some people, when the game come on, everything shut down, can't nobody say nothing, and this is where my attention goes. But the children are getting mistreated in school every day, and they don't even understand or even know, because you don't even know if they have the conversations where they can talk about this kind of stuff going on. And that's why my mind thought about think tanks. And the think tanks, you can have them within your family. You can have them within your family. You don't have to have them, in the community. It would be good if you could get together in the community and, have a think tank. That would really be good. But you could start a think tank in your families. And even though they're on a corporate type structure, you can start doing them as a corporation of the family. Think tanks. I ask questions. What is a think tank? A think tanks are institutions often affiliated with universities, foundations, advocacy groups, and non-governmental organizations that generate policy, research, and analysis. Many are ideological. Others strive to be independent and nonpartisan. So you can have that structure with your own family in the way that we're going to learn. And you can start learning as a family. And there shouldn't be today's time. I'm sure there are in some homes, but there shouldn't be many homes where the parents are not able to read and write. We're in 2023, and I know that you still have people that dropped out of school and was not interested in school and didn't want to learn anything. But most of the parents today are young, and hopefully they learned how to read and write and how to comprehend what they read and can spend time with their children. We have a lot of grandparents that are rearing children, and some of them can help their children and some of them cannot. Especially they come up with the new everything. It's very disheartening and it's very sad. And like Maria said, exactly, it really is. Asatar, yes, it is very disheartening. And so Alicia said, so true. What is a think tank for dummies? Think tanks operate as a public service. They're nonprofit entities that hope to inform powerful people about policy issues and persuade them to take certain courses of action. Learn more about what a think tank is and how it can influence politicians. So now, y'all, listen, these are the things that are really influencing people in real life. This is telling you what think tanks are. And why is if it can influence politicians, businesses, and special interest groups. And this was written November 2022. And I just looked this up on Google. And on the Google search page is where I just took these from. The first one was written July 10th, 2023. And then, what is the organization and structure of think tanks? As a structure, a think tank is defined in terms of a temporary organization or group focused on the resolution of a particular problem or task, particularly in the realms of science and technology. What is a think tank and how does it work? Think tanks are research institutes that seek to play a key role in making and influencing global, regional, and national policy. Whilst each think tank serves a specific purpose, they all share a common vision to improve their respective sectors, as well as being sources of new ideas and research. Why we can't do that as a family? It will take the adults to come up with the strategies and a plan, but you can sit down as a family and have the conversation, and you can get the input from your children. There are things that our children just are not taught in school. We know today because we were not taught. So maybe we want to incorporate some of what we know we need to know in this free world, as we call it, that we may want to incorporate as a family and do some work together and have assignments and then come together and see how it works and what do you think about it, what you learned from it. Did you get anything out of it? Why do they call it a think tank? The term think tank was first used in military jargon during World War II to describe a safe place where plans and strategies could be discussed. But its meaning began to change during the 1960s when it came to be used in the United States to describe private, nonprofit policy research organizations. What is the benefit of a think tank? They they catalyze change by raising awareness of key economic issues, initiating discussion, and showing policymakers a way forward. Their expertise and leadership can strengthen and mobilize civil society. So just think if you used all of the knowledge that you've gotten from training on different jobs. Just think if you used that and made it a strategy for the family on how you're going to learn. Just imagine what that could do for you and your children because you would be helping and learning from each other. Because there are some things I'm sure, especially if you've been out of school as many years as I have, that there are some things that they're certainly doing different, and your children may have an idea on how it works. And then you guys get together and come up with what you know, what you've learned, and they share what they know and what they've learned, and then you all learn something new together. What are three types of think tanks? You have classifying think tanks. American think tanks tend to be one of four types: academic, that's general purpose and specialized; contract research; advocacy; and policy enterprise, are a hybrid of the first three, meaning they put them all together. What is another name common for a think tank? A think tank or a policy institute is a research institute that performs research and advocacy concerning topics such as social policy, political strategy, economics, military, technology, and culture. So it's something that's doable for a family. That's if you really want to spark change. And then as you do it as a family, perhaps parents can do the same type of thing in the community to work with the PTA and with the education system to see if they can bring about some change. Or, we all say we need to homeschool our children, but if you don't know nothing, you can't teach the children anything. But if you guys are learning together, that may be the best thing to do. I don't know. They have homeschooling in all school systems. They allow you to homeschool, which the Supreme Court said as a parent, you have the right to make the decision for your child. And then they got case law. And that's, I used to know the name of that case. I know Glanville is one of the names. I got to think of the other name. But it's a very, very, very important case that happened some 5 or 6 years ago that made the difference in the parental rights of parents. And that's from the Supreme Court perspective. So Alicia said, I used to hate school, but I didn't have it so bad looking at what these children are going through today. And Phyllis said, I hear you. And she said, parents play a big part in a child's life. And she keeps talking about football, and we talking about children and learning. So she can keep writing that. I won't be reading that. I'm not a sports fan, so that don't make me happy or sad. But I live in a world where children, you're afraid to walk down the street. You're afraid to even speak to a child. And that's something that's scary. And that's something that we need to be trying to do something about. I only had one son, but there are many children. I don't see a lot of children today, but I have nieces and nephews that I've been very influential in their lives. And now they have children and they're working, trying to do some of the things that we couldn't do. And like I tell them all the time, you know, nobody really cares. If you don't care, nobody is going to help you. And life is too plentiful for us to be going to prison. I understand our condition, and we have some very deplorable conditions. But at some point, we have to, on our own, make a decision that we want to change the way our lives are being lived, and we want to do something different. And you may not even know what it is you want to do, but you've seen enough pain in your communities where you ought to see what you don't want to do. Now, you can easily not know what to do, but you can certainly see what you ought not be doing. Unless, of course, you know, you've given up on life, because there's only two places that you're going to end up, maybe three. You could end up in a nursing home, but chances are great it's going to be in the grave or in an institution, locked away as animals in a cage. And Phyllis said, you can talk about the kids all day long. However, it still goes back to the world will put other things in your path to divert the situation. That's very true. But you have to talk about children, and then you can't worry about the world. You teach them about the world, because the world is and is going to always be. Remember, the game is to be sold and not told. So you're going to always be at somebody's disadvantage. They're going to be trying to take advantage of you. But it's what you put in you that make you make the decisions that you make. Even when you want to go to the top, it's still people over the top that may require some things of you that you're not willing to do. And then you may be willing to do them. But at least be on a level playing field. At least we can stand for something. You know, there was a time when I went to school, the majority of the teachers looked like me. So it wasn't no such thing as the teacher was afraid of no little old child. I don't know a teacher, and I don't care how bad the student was to all the other students. It was the biggest bully in the school, but I don't know one teacher at that school was scared of that student. Now we have people that do not look like us teaching our children, and they're so afraid if the child sneezes in the room, they're getting rolled up, sent to in-house suspension, later getting put out of school. And the in-house suspension, in my opinion, came about so that they can keep getting the money for the children. Because, you know, you only get paid for the student if the student is in attendance. And if you put the kid out of school, then you're not getting money for that kid that day. So they came up with the in-house suspension, and therefore they can continue to get paid, put your kid in a room, and your kid is not learning anything. It is unbelievable how we still allow this type of behavior today. We can't keep blaming others. We got to look at our condition, look at how we're living. Now, we can't make anybody bring a grocery store to our neighborhoods. You know, most of us in the urban cities have food deserts. We don't even have stores that sell food. But everybody gets food stamps. But not in their community can they help build up their community. They have to go to another community. And then a lot of the food in the other community that they're going to, thinking they're going to get some healthy, fresh fruit and vegetables and canned goods, have expiration dates that's already passed. It's unbelievable. Alicia said, I'm thankful the things moved right when I went to read it. I'm thankful for the teachers I had. I had absentee parents. So for me, I'm grateful for the wonderful things they taught me. And that is a beautiful thing. And that's what teachers used to do for children. They would see their condition. They could tell when a child was having a problem at home. and they would be more cognizant of that fact, and they would be more sensitive to the child. Today, if the child is having problems at home and if they go to school, they're calling CPS and trying to get the children removed, no matter what the problem may be. They even have different signs. If your children do this, then this is happening at home. If they do that, then this is happening. It's so much that's against us that we could help correct. My mama always taught us, look, let what they say about you be a lie. So really what people think of me is none of my business, and they can do all the ugly talking and stuff, but I know that's a lie. These people don't know me. So it hurts because I'm human and I have feelings, but it means nothing because it's a lie. And most of it is projection as opposed to reality and truth. Billy said the change starts with the individual. It does. And something has to really prick that individual to want to do different. Because it's very easy to get complacent and to fall into, this is what we always do. It's very easy to fall into that trap. And Phyllis said, so Alicia, I had some good elementary teachers who shaped the foundation of the core of a person. Yeah, they did. They were more like parents. And that's because they were relatable to us and they looked like us. And they know if they called your parent, they know they wasn't going to have no problem. And back in those days, everybody pretty much did corporal punishment. And it wasn't a problem. Today, you don't know if the teacher have emotional problems, and I don't know if you would want a teacher putting their hands on your child, and you don't know if she's mad at her boyfriend because the teachers are so young, or if she came in from a hangover from last night because she's popping and locking to the same music as the children. And there's nothing wrong with that because I like music too, and I might do a little move or two to the same type music. But in the classroom, there has to be a level of respect. A level of respect. So, I mean, we have to, some kind of way, and I don't know how you can do it. I really don't. At least one good thing, people like Roland Martin, they get many of people from all over. Just that story alone had some 700,000, I believe, looking at that video. So it's been permeated throughout the land. But, I just think that it's something that we can do and talk about, something that can try to, hopefully somebody can hear it and want to be something or do something different than what we've been privy to the last year. Perhaps, who knows, we could be the voice or the comment that somebody will read and it'll make them want to do something different and go on to do something different. You never know. You never know. So Alicia said, Phyllis, I agree. I see that now. I didn't always see it that way, though. And Phyllis said, it's about payment for each student. However, at a certain time of day, the government funds the money and the child can be sent home. And then Phyllis said, now the school is not as it was when our folks taught us. The teachers are just teaching to pass a test. School is all about numbers, not learning. And that's the frightening part. Most teachers are now on medication themselves. And they're standing before the students and requiring things of them that they probably can't even produce themselves. Good night, everyone, Maria says. I'm a little under the weather. Continue enjoying the amazing show. I hope you get to feeling better, Maria. Do really go and take your medicine and lay it down. Don't forget the water. So Alicia said it's overwhelming. All this inclusion these schools are accepting. Schools now seem like a gateway vessel leading, prepping children for dysfunction. They are being spoon-fed dysfunction. And I would agree with that, Alicia. That's what it appears to be. And especially our children. And that's what's so sad. They don't really have a chance. When you look at if your home life is in disarray, and then you go to the school, you have the bullies at the school, you have the teachers with some that are not concerned, or they may be under pressure themselves. You don't really know, but you're not getting what you need. And that's where parents have to really try to get help if they don't know what to do, because a lot of parents don't know what to do. A lot of parents are young parents. Remember, we're coming up off of a lot of the parents of the children of today were crack cocaine addicts. And the children were reared either by the grandparent or they reared each other. The siblings stuck together and did what they could for each other. They just did the best they knew how. So we have a combination of all kind, and we have to be considerate of all of that. But you don't have to be, but it would be good to be considerate. That's what it's all about. Compassion, consistency, honesty, integrity, justice, peace, freedom, and above all, love. And you don't have to love that individual to have love for mankind. If you just love the person just because they're human, not necessarily for who they are. Because I love mankind, but it's a lot of people I really don't like. And that's just the truth of the matter. But you do what you can. Oh, thank you, Lovey. We got a new member, everybody. We got Lovey. Thank you so much, Lovey. That's beautiful. Let me say thank you. I appreciate that.
Your face. You got to remove the excess water. Now she's cut your face.
In a minute. I don't know when I'm going to get it, but
you got to remove the excess water. Now she's coming
this
out.
Is how you do it. Thank you. And my favorite day one song. Let me take you back to my elementary school days. I didn't do nothing to these people. I didn't do nothing to these people. I didn't do nothing to these people. People. I didn't do nothing to these people. I didn't do nothing to these people. I didn't do nothing to these people. People. I didn't do anything to these people. But I'm being bullied anyway. We will stop the bullying. And it starts with me. My new hashtag, not me. Money, 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 money. Money. Money, 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 money. Some people will sell you out. Do you know what I'm talking about? Some people tell jokes of dirt. They don't care who feelings they hurt. I was told from times of old, The game's to be sold and not told. If you don't know what I'm talking about, hang around YouTube and you will find out about that mean, oh mean, mean green, almighty dollar, cash money. Well, people don't let money, don't let money change you. Almighty dollar, cash money. People don't let money. Don't let money change you. Almighty dollar. They just keep on scamming and scamming everybody. Check them out, scamming and scamming everybody. I tell y'all, people don't let money, don't let money change you. Money, 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 money. See that old man over there in his chair? This old man is living in the bottle. He done quit his 9 to 5. He drink full time, and now he's living in the bottle. Well, see that old man over there in his chair? This old man got a problem, and it's a bad one. Now he done pawned off everything, his old woman wedding ring for the bottle. Well, and don't you think it's a crime when time after time people living in the bottle? These people living in the bottle, y'all. Okay. So we've done all that we can do tonight. Thank you, Lovey. Oh, Laura, it's good to know you still here. I didn't know you were still here. Asatar, I thought you had left us for a minute, but I guess you were a little excited. Thank you for coming back and speaking to Lovey, our new member. Billy said, don't let money change you. Just don't do it. Crystal said, everyone till we meet again. I love it too, Lovey. I just love to sing. I really do. But I am going to be kind and gracious tonight. And we have nobody have any questions or have anything they want to say. Then we're going to get ready for real and close out. And Asatar told me, don't be making no announcement. I'm closing out, and I don't close out. Because people leave, and I do a disservice to you all and to myself. So I thanked him for that. It's one thing I like about Asatar. He's going to help you help yourself if you want help. I love you too, Lovey, always. Tap in whenever you can. You know I'm here on Wednesdays and Sundays. And on that note, Asatar, I'm going to get ready to play, my favorite going out song. Crystal, have a beautiful night. Everybody in the bushes, I thank y'all for being there. I thank y'all for hitting the like button for me. I thank y'all for the donations and the super sticker. I appreciate everybody. And certainly, I appreciate your time. I know Regina is always busy, but she's in and out. And I thank her for dropping in tonight. It means a lot. So, Alicia, have a beautiful night. And it's good to know that you're feeling a little bit better. I'm so happy. We all been going through something. Maybe it's the change of weather. And, from these rainstorms, I haven't gotten wet, but, getting in and out and getting wet, yes, ma'am. But I want to say good night to everybody. I thank y'all for being here. We'll try to keep doing great content. Who knows what it'll be about, but we'll make sure that it's about something that we can see, and perhaps we can have some suggestions or some solutions, because it's not enough to just point out the problem. We've been living with the problem all our lives. We want some solutions. And some people listen, some people don't. Some people have to do it in their time and their pace. And that's beautiful, as long as you put forth the effort to do it. And whatever happens, happens. Because none of us should be so, as we've been trained, robotical, so that we just have to do everything when somebody says how they say it. That's not freedom. And we need to use our creativity and speak to ourselves. Spend some time alone and talk to yourself. A lot of people used to say, if you talk to yourself, you're crazy. Be crazy. Talk to yourself. Answer yourself. Talk it out. Reason. We learn from hearing and seeing and doing. So do all of that. Phyllis said we're free to be free. On that note, I'm going to get ready to leave the tiger's den. So, of course, we're going to remind each other of the greatest love of all, which are our children. And then my favorite last song, Speechless. And after that, we're out of here. Have a good night. I'm leaving the tiger's den. Goodbye. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us who we used to be. Everybody's searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone to fulfill my needs. A lonely place to be. So I learned to depend on me. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I failed, if I succeed, at least I'll live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity, because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. And if by chance that special place that you've been dreaming of takes you to a lonely place, find yourself in love. I like to also welcome everybody to Pink October. This is the month that we celebrate life. Life, number one for me, my life, October 26th. If I live to see it, I'll be 65 years young. And for those who suffer from breast cancer, some have survived, some are still fighting right now today, and some have transitioned on. If you happen to know anybody that's going through any illness, please be sure and check on them. If you can, send them, if they have a cash app or two. You never know what people are going through, and you never know what you can do to put a smile on their face. If you don't have it, give them a phone call and just say hello. Sometimes they may not even feel like talking if they're going through an illness. So you may just want to leave them a message or send them a note that you wrote. You can send the beautiful gifts. They love those too. But it's really good to hear from you, the individual. But sometimes you just don't feel like picking up a phone. So just do whatever you can do. Lift them up in prayer. Smile. Whatever you can do to make somebody else's day better. It also helps make you better as a person. You feel good about doing whatever you can do to help aid somebody when they are going through something that you're not. It really means a lot. And on that note, I'm going to say I'm leaving the Tiger's Den. Goodbye. YouTube. When I look at the subscribers that I received over the past year, 60 subscribers compared to other content creators. Some started when I started. Some came after me. The numbers are not numbering. From what my numbers tell me, I gained 1 subscriber every 6 days. YouTube. You got me. You got me. You've got me, YouTube. You've got me speechless. You've got me. You've got me. You've got me. You've got me speechless. All I can say is yes, yes, yes. All I can say is yes, yes, yes. Whoo. Bye.